Hello, welcome to the presentation for Make America Safe, Strong, Wealthy, and Great Again, how policies affect your pocketbook, your protection, your peace, and your prosperity. The objective here is to just share information on the difference between Trump and Harris and between Republicans and Democrats and how policies actually affect you and your family. Throughout the presentation, we're going to use something called the Ben Franklin T. This is a great, simple, easy chart for decision making. Benjamin Franklin used it for a lot of his big decisions. And in essence, it's a decision tree or chart that says what are all the reasons for something and what are the reasons against something, or what are the comparison between two choices. And again, this is enabled to help you make informed, satisfying, and confident decisions when you're going through. A lot of the things are broken down into sections. I'm not going to read them. This is from the Republican plank, but let's start with everyday items. What's the impact on your pocketbook on everyday items? Cost of goods. We see a lot of charts, a lot of information about cost of goods going up and up and up. Under Trump and the Republicans versus Harris and the Democrats, 1.2 on inflation, 9% gas, loaf of bread. We like to actually use visuals. Inflation. This is what inflation looks like. This is a great chart that you'll be able to use throughout the presentation to make some really bold comparisons. And let's talk about policy. The implementation of Trump and the Republicans on policy for inflation. Inflation was trending down. When you look at the Democrats, they instituted Inflation Reduction Act and some policy. Inflation is spiked. Inflation is going down. This slide also is a lot of ways to use what we call fake news. Fake, not in that it's a lie, but it's meant to deceive you. It's like magic. And you'll see a lot of fake news and talking points. The Democrats will say inflation is going down. Technically and factually, that is correct. Inflation is going down. However, as a comparison between Trump and Republican policies and Democrats, prices are still way, way up. And you can see that through gas prices, loaf of bread, eggs, average rent, and even mortgage rates. This is the economic impact of policies in a specific and visual graph. Electricity, energy, all of it, you can show how it's trending up. How about taxes? Individual, what's the impact on your paycheck? Well, taxes on the individual side under Trump and the Republicans were 12%. The increase in real income, increase in savings, and what is the proposal for 2024? Lower taxes, no tax on tips. Democrats was a little different. Tax was a little higher, income, real income, and proposals. Again, let's take a look at it in graphs. Taxes the individual, tax under the Democrats. There's what it looks like in a graph. Republicans were trending down. Democrats are trending up. Looks like Republicans win. Increase in income per household. Net increase Republican side, 6,000. Net increase on the Democratic side, 700. Your income per household was going up. Increase in net earnings per household, 4,290, 2,400. Again, the benefit with a Ben Franklin T is this helps you realize some really interesting and stark differences in what those impacts are to you, your family, and your household, and even minorities. This isn't a who's better, what color. If you look at all Americans, and we did break it down between Hispanics and Blacks, under Harris and the Democrats, it's a massive difference. And when we look at it here, under the Republican, all households, Hispanic and Black households outperformed anything on the Democratic side in terms of increase in real income. Deregulation, big government versus small government. Under Trump and the Republicans, the average savings was $12,000. Harris and the Democrats, the cost per family has been over $90,000. So really tremendous. How about impact on your savings? Credit card debt. Again, let's look at it in numbers. Credit card rate, debt, credit card debt, debt per household. Graphically, And I think it looks even better on a single graph, better or worse, depending on your perspective. Trump and the Republicans, the policies kept it fairly low. Under the Democrats, your credit card rates have skyrocketed. Your credit card debt per family has increased, and your total debt per household under the Harris Democrat policies have just continued to escalate. How about taxes on businesses? What's the impact on your payroll? Well, the percentage business under the Republicans, after some of the implementation under Harris and the Democrats, graphically, it's very simple to see. Trump implemented the tax reductions, went into effect. Harris and the Democrats have a little different policy, and that impact is dramatic. We looked at it differently too, though. Revenue collected. This was a great little slide when we did it. The difference between Republican policy and Democrat policies. These are policies that impact you on a daily basis. The revenue collected in the government, even after the tax reduction under the Trump policy, the Republican policies, revenue was trending up even after that massive reduction. And let's just go back for a second. There is the graph again. And the results, income. Now, this is really interesting, we believe as well. Revenue has gone up in collection under the Harris Democrat policies. We don't believe that's a good thing. Maybe you do. We don't think government's collecting more and more and more tax money is necessarily the best policy. How about the impact on your investments, stock exchanges? New York Stock Exchange, cumulative returns, 36 versus 23. Little up and down there, you can see it. NASDAQ, really massive difference in returns here, primarily because of some of the incentives in the technology side, 163 versus 31. Again, these are direct impact on your investments. Policies produce outcomes. Dow Jones Industrial, 54 versus 21. Again, Republicans win on that side. S&P 500, 67 versus 28. This isn't a big business, small business. This isn't one class or race. This is investments, period, that could be in your 401k or any of your investment strategies. Let's move to immigration. Big topic. What's the impact on your neighborhood? We looked at this not attacking illegal immigration in terms of the actual immigrants themselves. We looked at it a little different on policy. What's the impact on your neighborhood? Under the Trump and the Republicans, many of the policies we believe in border security, remain in Mexico, legal entry, quick deportation, deport violent criminals, remove terrorists, legalize and pay taxes. Harris and the Democrats immediately canceled 94 Trump border policies, canceled remain in Mexico, open borders, release. These are policies. These are beliefs. They're different. Which one can you choose? Depends on where you fall, but a lot of these in terms of increased border security. The downside of illegal immigration policy is you encourage people into the country, and when they get here, this chart's a little frustrating. If you're a citizen, if you're a taxpayer, if you're an individual, again, doesn't matter what color you are, what class, what neighborhood you come from, you have expenses for you and your family, a cell phone, legal aid, health care, medical care, shelter. Under the undocumented immigrant plan of the Democrats, they're receiving a lot of benefits for free. There's not only encouragement, but this is putting people at the front of the line receiving free benefits that average citizens are paying for. And so what do you get by those kinds of policies? Well, under illegal immigration with Trump and the Republicans, we've got some numbers here. Harris and the Democrats, but let's just look at it in a graph. It's a little bit better. Illegal encounters, Trump and the Republican policies, 3 million. Democrats, over 11 million estimated. When you look at illegal aliens and gotaways, 700,000. Under Harris and the Democrat, 2.2. Again, these are policies. These are encouragements. These are freebies given away to people being encouraged to come to our country. Terrorist encounters, quite a scary one, 22 cumulative, 393. That's what it looks like graphically. Again, the graphs are designed to really highlight and showcase exactly what these impacts and policies are. Criminal justice, what's the impact on your safety? Well, violent crimes under Trump and the Republicans, 1.8 million. Harris and the Democrats, 2.6. This is interesting, though, when you look at it statistically, again, whether this is fake news or misdirection or magic, technically some of the trends are going down. However, there's also policies now where many crimes are not reported, they're not prosecuted, or many crimes are reclassified. And you've got certain cities and states, or cities primarily, that don't even include the crime statistics. When you include in the major crimes in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Detroit, Chicago, and DC, currently under Democratic policies, these cities do not even report stats. And if they did, if there was more honesty and transparency in the reporting, cumulative violent crimes 1.8 versus 5.4 million under Democratic policies. It's really unfortunate. Crimes by illegals 1.8 versus 2.2. Again, we're not casting aspersions on illegals. This is impact on policy. 2.2 million crimes potentially committed by individuals who should not, could not, or possibly would not have been in the country under a different policy or administration system. Let's look at criminal justice policy beliefs. Trump and the Republicans, criminal justice reform, support the police, believe riots are bad. We even put in fully funded HBCUs. Historically, Black colleges and universities for years had to go back to the government and beg for a budget. Even under Obama, it was a tragedy where every year they're begging for their budget. Trump looked at it and said, forget that, let's fully fund it. We put this under criminal justice because if an individual can get an education, if they can go through college, this isn't a support that college is better than a trade school or anything else, but college is a great option. And that college degree can lead to less criminal interactions. And so we put it under criminal justice as a policy. Harris and the Democrats, this one's a little more directly at her. Senator Harris and Attorney General Harris incarcerated 1,500 people, over 15, for smoking marijuana and bragged about it. And then she went on a podcast and admitted she smoked marijuana herself and laughed about it. There's some quite a bit of hypocrisy in this type of program and policy and person who also funded and bailed out rioters after the riots many years ago and hid evidence in a death row case. So criminal justice policy really has an impact on you. Let's look at a reimagination of illegal immigrants. Again, the Democrats love the term reimagine policing, and they've got a policy for that. If you could reimagine illegal immigration, we took one example. New York City spent $5 billion so far on illegal immigration. They believe it's going to be $10 billion in 2025. What if that money were invested in New York citizens? Not illegal, not people coming and cheating the system or jumping the line or cutting the line in front of you. We're not saying illegals are bad. We're looking at policy for you as a citizen in New York, the individual impact. That $5 billion could have been redirected to local benefits, 200 parks, 40 recreation centers, 15,000 police officers, community services, roads upgraded. These are policy decisions. When you're encouraging illegal immigration, when you're reclassifying the laws, when you're encouraging free giveaways, that money's being redirected where it could have been and should have been redirected to local benefits for local citizens. Global wars, what's the impact on your peace? Global strength, Trump and the Republicans fully funded NATO, increased the budget. The budget grew under pressures. Almost no war started, limited attacks. Harris and the Democrats, it's been a different outcome. Reduced military spending. Budgets were declining. Several wars have started. 187 attacks, military alone. 20,000 soldiers wounded or killed. A travesty in Afghanistan and some of the withdrawals. We truly believe the global strength lies on the Trump Republican side. Even in NATO, Trump really pushed for NATO to increase their funding, to meet their funding commitments. not in a sense that NATO is bad, but in a sense of fairness of what was supposed to be done. And that's reflected here in the increase in NATO budgets. And then we can look here and say, oh, well, the NATO trended up under Harris and the Democrats too. But unfortunately, that is a result of the wars going on that were started within the Democratic administration, where now you needed to fund NATO more to protect the wars that possibly shouldn't, couldn't, or wouldn't have been started. Cities and states. This is the local one. How does this impact your local city and state? These are local policies, Republican policies. And we picked one particular state, red state versus blue state, Florida. Republicans, Governor DeSantis, California, the Democrats, Harris. Crime is lower, taxes is lower, homeless, not a sanctuary city, criminals are arrested, prosecuted, lots of people and businesses moving in. The Democratic states, Democratic policies, higher taxes, higher crime, riots are encouraged, sanctuary cities, defund the police programs, lots of people and businesses moving out of those states. And it's not just that particular state. We did a research here and thought this is interesting. 18 of the top 25 states for job growth are led by Republican governors. A long list of successful governors and states whose policies are encouraging job growth and lower unemployment. Again, policies impact your local city and state, and a lot of those policies are Republican. Saving democracy. What's the impact on your vote? We looked at it and said, what is election integrity? Voting with no cheating. This isn't about what was stolen or taken. Like, no cheating means what can you do? Because people don't like cheaters. People don't like jumping the line and changing the system and changing the rules. That's the dream of democracy. The democracy dream. Republicans believe in election integrity. Only citizens should vote, a valid ID, signature verification, removal voters, vote on time, enable qualified poll watchers that can actually see and watch what's going on. What's the scheme of the Democrats? The democracy scheme? Immigrants can vote, no ID required, no signature, leave voter rolls untouched, refuse to remove names, count votes for days after, and actually allow poll observers to watch. There's some really fascinating machinations with words. Words matter. The law with poll watchers said they must be able to, quote, observe the vote. Well, there's a difference between observing something 2 feet away and 50 or 75 or 100 feet away. There were several shenanigans played within certain cities and states. We won't mention them, but you can pretty much guess from this, where the poll watchers were kept so far away they couldn't actually see anything, but by law, they were technically observing. And it's that kind of movement that we really think messes up the process. And what is the process now? In the presidential nomination, Trump and the Republicans have adhered to the Democratic process. 22 million votes for Trump, 37 press conferences to date, 42 campaign stops, 14 interviews, 4 less than friendly interviews, and an economic, immigration, and public safety plan that's all on the website and visible. Harris and the Democrats, little different process. No votes for the candidate, no press conferences, no friendly interviews, no less than friendly, and an economic, immigration, public safety, and education plan that's not even on the website yet. And we're so close to election, the policies haven't even been put out. What's more democratic within the system? Kamala Harris has received 0 actual votes on the presidential side. There were voters for Joe Biden, over 3.3 million voters who have been cheated out of their options to vote. President Harris, Vice President Harris, received 0 votes to date. No one has officially ever voted for the Democratic system installed President, Vice President Harris into the situation and said she is the nominee. The voters for Biden have been robbed and cheated of their choice. We don't believe that's a democratic process. She's the nominee. Where's the democracy? Let's finish up with some hypocrisy and fake news, the impact on your beliefs. Crime statistics. The Democrats are hypocrites in a lot of situations. We're not a big fan of name calling, but that one's kind of fun. Trump and the Republicans look at crime stats and assaults and shoplifting and carjackings. On the Democratic side, many of the stats in big cities aren't even reported. They don't count assaults. If it's under $950, it doesn't count as shoplifting. People aren't prosecuted, no bail, no arrest. So when you look at it, and the crime rates and statistics are going down, fake news says that's not entirely true. Fake like magic, not a lie. Statistics are going down, but this is meant to deceive you. It's the magic of deception. Trump and Republicans. Kamala was a border czar. The borders are wide open. Crime rates are going up. Democratic cities have the highest crime. School choice is good for your kids. Harris and the Democrats, Kamala was never the borders are. Border secure, crime rates are going down. Republican states have the highest crime. This is a fun one. You hear a lot of Democratic, but oh, well, Republican states have the highest crime overall. Well, that may be true, but the Democratic cities within those states are the ones driving the crime rates up. So it's convenient to count the crime rates when you're attacking a red Republican state, but not count them when you're saying crime rates are going down. This is about how do you make decisions based on more facts to have a better outcome. Public education, politicians, security guards, values. Which one is weird? This one's popped up lately. Oh, you're weird. No, you're weird. Well, let's see who's weird. Trump and the Republicans, for the most part, believe men are men, women are women. You should protect women's spaces, protect sports. Police should protect neighborhoods, school chores, secure border, family values, low gas prices, EVs. Electric vehicles aren't bad, but it should be a choice, not a mandate. Parents should be notified if their kids have gender surgery. Harris and the Democrats, no definition on gender. Men are allowed in women's bathrooms and sports. Reimagining police, told where to send your school, open borders, criminal free, make fun of family and having kids, forced mandates for cars and stoves and food, buying energy from foreign countries, transgender surgery for kids is hidden from your parents, abortion up till birth versus abortions decided by the state. You can decide which one's weird. On my side, I'll go with the Republicans and think that the other side's a little more weird. Vote early. Impact on your vote. This is the last one as we finish up here. Bank your vote is a big Republican push, and there's benefits. Why should you vote early? I'll let you go through and read this. You can download or stop. A bunch of benefits to voting early: avoiding the line, peace of mind. What could go wrong by not voting early? Failure with voting machines, denial of service attack, printer issues, bad directions. What about the benefits to the campaign of you voting early? Well, they can reallocate resources. If you voted, direct mail can be refocused, phone introductions, everything can be refocused and more efficiently allocated. And the benefits to you by voting early: you feel safe and secure, fewer calls, less direct mail, more security, more freedom. You know you've voted. That's what we're looking for. The purpose of this, again, just trying to help you make better decisions. Consider your options, bank your vote, protect your future. We hope this helped. Thank you very much.